Last week, our heroes found themselves amongst the Dread Marshes, a very, very swampy, murky, and sullen land filled with reptile lizard folk. The Hat had spoken. From atop Skyrook Ridge, Puddles received a portent that they must go to the Dread Marshes in order to try and find some manner of clue to what might drive away the mammoths. Now, after a quick dive into a vision quest, they learnt that the mammoth's attack was not unprovoked. Something in Wilderan is amiss, and hopefully your journey will guide you to figuring out what exactly that is. Now, you had journeyed into the swamplands and found a wedding of several large crocodilian creatures, and, things weren't well. The bride was in tears. The father of the bride seemed to be ready to rip someone limb from limb, and there was no sign of the groom or the massive and very, very delicate wedding cake that they had planned. After approaching and speaking to some of the people here, it was the group that discovered that, the chef wasn't exactly a chef per se. It was none other than La Rouge the Goblin, a former, acquaintance of the group, who had somehow or another gotten in deep with finding a cake in the middle of the forest and presenting it as a wedding cake. And it having run off, the groom chased after it. After searching, you eventually found not the cake, but a muscular gnomish individual and a hydra in which to battle. Once the hydra was dispatched and treasures were given and presents and tearful goodbyes were said to this muscular gnome, you were approached from behind by an individual that you did not recognize. Let us begin. The creature standing before you is a very, very tall, lean lizard folk with a frilled neck, around this very, very auburn and yellow-scaled visage. As he stands before you, he says, "Who are you? It's not often that we see mammals this far south of the ridge."
We're looking for a runaway groom and a runaway, believe it or not, cake. I don't suppose you've seen a wee cake run by, no?
As soon as Sorrel starts talking, Puddles will take off their hat, bow, and then immediately stretch out the brim, look over at Fennec, and hop high enough, hopefully, to stretch the hat
Puddles.
out and pull it down
Puddles.
on top of him. Yes.
Fennec runs. He starts bolting. He says, "I'm not going back in the hat!" He runs. He sprints.
Oh no.
Make an athletics check. Because I can.
Oh, can I use my hero token for that?
Dang it. Yes. Very well. You leap into the air and with little to no resistance, you manage to grab hold and grab poor Fennec, who disappears once more into the brim of the hat.
Heroically hatting the Fennec.
Also will quickly put the hat back on, try to look around innocently, and hop back over to Mocha. And do their best to pretend like nothing happened.
I have questions, but I can save them for later.
Very well. All right, Fennec disappears into the hat. Now, as you, Sorrel, as you bring this up, the lizard folk speaks up and says, "Yes, I was due to be wed. My name is Sorinash, and, well, I still desire such a thing, but The beauty that I am to wed would be disappointed if I were to return without my wedding cake. What manner of man would even be considered to be a worthy husband for letting a cake elude him? I am a proud hunter from the Desert Runner clans, and I will find... Though this is not the desert, and I find myself turned around easily.
So
Hey,
what
well,
would happen if... Oh, no, go ahead. What were you going to say?
No, it's fine, Puddles, you go ahead.
Great. This is my friend Sorrel. What would happen
What did I
if
do?
you... What would happen if you, like, ran off into... find your cake, but instead found someone who isn't going to eat you, like Sorrel?
Wait, I'm not
And then
going
you
to eat him.
live
Puddles, you
happily
might not
ever
want to
after.
be a home wrecker.
Oh wait, is that wrecking a home?
Aye.
You're about to get
Wouldn't
married.
cannibalism be like wrecking more than a home?
Hmm.
I'm trying to save this person from being devoured by their... Yep, and...
Maybe we can just find the cake.
I'm just curious. Where did we get the impression that this guy was going to get eaten?
Yeah, I was wondering about that.
Well, the bride and the crocodile tears. They
Oh,
looked
right. Okay, I'm with it. Yep.
very much like they were gonna eat them. I would much rather them live happily, wandering around, and not be worried about being chomped on.
Okay.
Right.
He says, as tempting as this is, my heart belongs to only one. Please, I implore you. I am not equipped to be able to deal with these marshes, and the humid weather is already moisturizing my scales. If you can help me find my cake, I will ensure that I can offer you not only a place at my wedding, but perhaps some kind of reward. Surely there is something you seek.
See, Puddles, that's true.
What if we find out the cake is a lie, though?
The cake is pretty real. I chased it for a couple of miles.
Hey, about that,
Yeah.
are you sure you want to eat a cake that can run away?
How did it run away? I've never seen a cake run before.
Has it got like wee little legs, or does it just float? I'm just curious.
The lizard folk does this kind of undulating dance where he's just sort of like, as he, it's sort of like this.
Right. Well, I mean, if it's moving through
Sounds
the
more like
swamp,
Jello to me.
surely it'll leave like crumbs or something behind, or like, I don't know, dripped cream.
Listen,
Surely
where
a
we-
cake has to leave some tracks moving through a swamp.
Cake is
you
a
may,
lie.
if you wish to, you may look around for cake tracks. By the way, ladies and gentlemen, I want to take a moment to welcome the new people who have just shown up for chat. Thank you so much for coming and hanging out, and thank you for the follows and the likes. For those of you who are slightly confused at what's going on, the group is trying, well, at least for the most part, to bring a groom who has left his wedding back to his beloved bride. The issue is that the cake in which was prepared for the wedding is alive for some reason. They are now tracking it down. Puddles, on the other hand, believes that the bride is shedding crocodile tears and is disingenuous about her vows to marry this man. She is, however, also a literal crocodile. So, there's that. Okay. Then now you're all caught up. So, with our perception checks. Oh, survival.
Perception. Oh,
Did I say
sorry.
survival or
Just-
perception?
I don't think you said anything. I just assumed survival. I apologize.
That's okay. Go perception.
I can do a perception if you want, yeah.
Beautiful.
Okay.
All right. As you look around in the mud, you can see that there is a large trail. It looks like something heavy was dragged through the area. No footsteps, no hopping, no cadence to its movements. But you see some pink and white stuff clinging to the branches.
So I was going to reach out a finger and get a glob of the pink stuff and give it a little sniff and a little lick. Because that's what you do.
Yeah, you smell it. It smells fine, and as you lick it, it is sure as heck vanilla and strawberry fondant.
That's quite nice, actually.
Cake is a lie.
Strawberry.
Cake
It
is a
tastes
lie.
real. I don't know. It tastes real. I mean, like strawberry and vanilla. But it went this way.
All right. Following the tracks, you make your way through for about 15 minutes down past the area that you tracked the lizard folk to. He follows you behind, keeping a reasonable distance, but at the same time, kind of also keeping his own eye out, looking and trying to find where has the cake gotten to. All right. Eventually, all right. Eventually, you find a small cave by the side of a mossy hill. And let me just share the map with you guys. And let me share the map with our lovely audience. Boop. There we go. All right. The mossy hill itself stands in front of you, wind blowing assorted detritus across the small little opening that's there. Barely noticeable, but this is where the drag marks lead. And you can see more of that pink and white stuff lining the walls here.
The cake is a lie.
Well, it went in there. Lie or truth?
He's got to deal with another cave.
I hope there's really an angry polar bear in this one.
I could
Or troll.
kick Fennec out of the hat and make him go in there.
Well,
What do you guys think?
I think we can.
I could try sneaking in and having a peek. Oh, we'll just all go in. I mean, there's only a cake in there. How bad can a cake be, really? We just defeated a three-headed water monster thingy.
Exactly.
Surely a cake can't be worse than that.
You don't want to get too close to cakes, I think. That run away, at least. But
I do not fear some kind of confectionery.
Right, well then you can go first.
yeah,
But
why
if
don't you
you-
go first? You can
Do
go
you
first.
know
Yeah.
how it ran
Go first.
away? I am still very confused about that.
Like this.
And- Oh,
I
should've
was
expected
pretty
that.
explicit.
I don't know what I expected.
Okay. Well, do not
Hey,
worry.
Sorrel, you're good at the sneaky sneaks. If maybe if you were super sneaky about going in and being as amazing as you are, and knowing that you are like the stealthiest person I know, and
Right.
you believe in the cake, even though I think it's a lie.
It's the future. I've tasted it.
Well, then, if it is the future, then I believe you. I guess the cake is a lie.
Right,
and-
well, I'll just sneak on in there then. Right.
Ooh.
You
All right.
can- Shh.
You make your way in, and as soon as you enter, about 10 foot into this small cavern, you see a wall of fondant. It is very, very well decorated with small blossoming flowers, vines intricately woven with green bits of cake icing, and tiny little berries made of. It's basically a chocolate shell with jam in the center of it, set into decorated arrangements like wild berries along the lower tier of this beautiful wedding cake. And resting atop is what looks to be a crocodile person and a lizard person holding hands.
So just a wall.
Yeah, it's pretty like solid white wall.
And it's not moving.
And it's not moving, no.
I thought I was going to prod it gently. Just poke the wall. Poke.
All right. You prod the thing. As
Yeah.
you do so, it seems to jiggle.
Oh. Right, well, this is odd.
I need you to make me a reflex save. Oh, dexterity saving throw, should I say.
Uh-oh.
Oh.
Oh.
Oh no.
All right.
What does the little hero pointy thing that I've got do?
That'll give you a reroll.
Okay, I'm going to do that. Slightly better.
That's better. That's very better.
All right. You take 5 points of gum damage as your hand
damage.
basically sticks to it, and it's almost about as sticky as fly paper. It pulls off some of your hair as you to snatch your hand back, and you hear this sort of chewing sound as your hair is subsumed into the spongy, sweet mass. The creature starts to move towards you, and as it does so,
It just sort of like turned around to start
Gillette
running.
responded.
It just shouted. She's like, "You were right. The cake was a lie. I'm sorry I doubted you."
Oh
Told you.
All right, I would also like to give Eddie some props. I told him that I wanted a 3-tier ooze cake, and that's precisely what he made.
Oh my god.
Isn't it
I
glorious?
blame LaRouge that you at least killed. It's his fault.
All right, we are going to go into initiative as our heroes. Yeah, okay, of course you'll go last. I guess. Okay. All right. The lower tier begins to separate, and as it does, this tongue made of layered sponge and jam leaks out of its mouth. The lower tier appears to be some kind of sponge cake with jam. The middle tier opens 2 eyes, and within you can see red velvet. And then on its top, a thin layer of chocolate cake. Mud, thick and dense and heavy. First on our initiative is Puddles.
Puddles is going to peer in to the cave, and upon seeing the cake that is a lie, Puddles is going to look at Sorrel and say, I've told you this once, I'll tell you 1,000,000 times. You're really, really good at what you do. I think you're amazing, and you can get out of there. Everything will be fine. Everything will be fine. You've got this. As a bonus action, I want to inspire her, Sorrel. And then Puddles is going to look at the creature, the cake, not the creature, the cake, and say, you know, a real cake, or at least all the cakes that I've seen, would have something fancy for the bride and groom, like a little bit of light. We all need a little light in our lives. And Puddles will take a deep, deep breath and exhale several bubbles from their pipe of various colors, like that you would see at a traditional wedding, like a very, very pretty pink, and then, you know, the more masculine like blues and stuff. And I'm going to cast fairy fire in there.
All right. As you cast fairy fire, the glittering lights from inside your bubble explode and cover it in a scintillating array of twinkling stars. The creature is far too slow, but it is now even more beautiful.
It is a shiny cake.
It is a shiny,
Sparkly.
glimmering cake. Actually, you know what? No, hold on. Let me tantalize you here. Hold on.
Someone put a load of those little silver sprinkles all over it. Oh.
Okay, I'll show you what you've literally just done here. Hold on. Hold up. I've got just the thing.
Oh no.
Okay, there we go. Perfect. Let's see. You're gonna make me do this the hard way, huh? Very well. There we go. And without any trouble, he says, with plenty of trouble. And then and then alright, there we go. This is now what you are fundamentally fighting.
Fundamentally.
Fundamental. Alright. Ta-da! Cake!
Fantastic.
Anyway, I'm gonna leave this up because I definitely want to confuse the heck out of anyone who joins the stream, and they're like, "What are the players doing again?" I'm like,
Galaxy cake.
"They're fighting a cake." Just there you go. All right, Puddles, that was your turn. Sorrel, you're up. You watched as the cake has become somehow more appealing.
Sorrel's going to try stabbing it with her rapier. She's not too sure how much damage she'll be able to do, but she's going to experiment. Since she is there in front of it. And stabbing things usually works for Sorrel, you know? But who knows? Why did that roll? Oh yes, because I have advantage. I stabbed the cake.
With a thrust, your blade sinks deep into the spongy, cakey center of this 3-tiered wedding cake. And you deal
And
10 points of damage
Stab.
to the cake.
And then I'm going to bonus action disengage and move back, well, 30 feet. If that takes us out of the cave, if whatever, just, yeah. I'm going to back up at least 30 feet until I'm out of the cave.
All right. Very well. You turn and you move away, escaping from the ooze. However, it does get an attack of opportunity as you move away and uses its...
But I used the disengage action. So
it has a 10-foot reach. Does that make a difference? Because I think you
in
ignore the first...
D&D? I don't know.
Oh,
I know
no,
it
if you
doesn't
take
pass
disengage and you can get away, that it doesn't invoke opportunity
Disengage
attacks.
does not, and yeah, disengage.
Oh, it's not just
doesn't
ignore the first
inspire
5 foot?
attack
Okay,
features.
then you're fine. This time, Laura. All right.
No.
So, Mocha, you're up next. You see Sorrow sprinting out. There's some fur missing from one of her hands.
All right. Yeah, seeing this thing kind of being like drippy and oozy, I guess. Like,
Actually, it's not drippy and oozy. It is
no?
firm and
Gummy.
elastic, and you know when you push down a sponge and it's such a high quality sponge
it's like a
that it almost
sponge.
bounces back?
Oh. Like, I was gonna say this cake is a pie, but I guess not. So she's gonna try to make it. She's gonna try to make it a bit more dense and bring out the skillet and give it a whack from the top down.
You swing down with the mighty skillet.
Why did I roll the hit? Oh, right,
Because of fairy fire.
yeah, right.
That'll hit.
Yay!
Boing.
Woohoo!
It wobbles.
Boom, go.
11 points of damage. Another hefty blow to this large creature. Sorry,
No bonk, just a spring.
just a sproing. Yeah, it's basically it. All right, sorry. I didn't name him actually. I kept him just as Sad Groom. I was like, it's Sad Groom's turn.
Sad
All right.
groom.
Sad Groom. All right,
Also, we didn't short rest from last time, right? So it's just
correct.
okay.
So Sarnas steps forward and attempts to bite the cake. He will! For 1 damage. Look, he's a civvy, okay? Cut me some slack. Be grateful he's in combat.
It doesn't so much bite the cake as he just reaches out and just gives it a little lick.
Yeah. He's like, oh, pretty good.
Doing exactly what his wife didn't want him to do.
This will be a mighty cake indeed. All right. It is going to try and engulf Mocha. As you watch the middle tier open wide and this red velvet mouth filled with teeth that seem to be made of like icing drips just basically lunges and tries to swallow Mocha whole. Oh. Mocha makes her saving throw, which means she ducks out of the way and avoids being restrained by the 3-tiered cake.
The one time Mocha will succeed on a dex save. Against food. That's apropos, really.
All right, Puddles, it is your turn.
Puddles being a little bit upset. Puddles doesn't get upset very easy. Puddles being a little bit upset pulls the banjo off their back and starts strumming this really discordant melody. And like Puddles, who normally like sings really, really loud and really, really off key, seems to just be like hissing or whispering in this really croaky voice. The cake is a lie. I mean, it casts dissonant whispers. As Puddles is doing this, the like bubbles out of Puddles' pipe. I'm doing this at second level, by the way.
Yep.
two giant bubbles kind of come out, and they look like really awkward and a little creepy. As they kind of shape kind of like brains, but then like shape into pies as Puddles lets it all go.
15 points of damage as they
Dang.
pop near the cake. The cake despondently jiggles at the bubbles. Sorrel, the cake is making its way out of the cave. What do you do?
Well, stabbing it seemed to work reasonably well last time. And seeing as it like wants to eat Mocha, she's not going to let that happen. So she's going to dart forward and see if she can get a stab in, especially now that she has a companion in reach, within range. It's even better for her. Oh yeah.
Nice. All right.
That means I get my sneak attack.
I think the cake is immune to sneak attacks,
Oh, okay. That's fine then.
as it has no discernible anatomy. It is a cake.
Yeah. I'll just stab it again. Stab.
All right. As you stab it, one of the tiers disappears. The lower one sort of... And it is now a 2-tiered cake.
I didn't think the cake surviving this, Mocha. You may have to make another cake for the wedding before we head back.
I mean, I guess I could try. I'm not really a baker.
Oh,
Yeah.
hell, it'll be fine.
All right, Mocha.
All right. Gonna take a swing to try to knock the next tier off of this cake, like one of those like Japanese game shows where you have to like hit the dharma off of it and like knock the tier off.
Punk. All right, that is a strike as your skillet hits the the bottom section now. For a glorious
Woo!
13
Nice.
damage.
Boom!
Wow.
Ooh, not quite, but yeah, that lower level's not looking great.
And I would like to action surge and do it again.
Yeah, do it again.
Eee.
All
I
right,
did not use
as
that.
you swing with the first hit, it swings around, you swing backwards.
Boom!
Critical hit!
What?
Yeah.
All right. 22 damage. You obliterate that lower
What?
tier. There is a rain of red velvet that just covers this area. Mocha, you look like you're like a Viking barbarian, like in the heat of war. As in slow motion, you're just covered in red velvet cake, like ah.
Just covered in red. It's like blood. I love this so much.
All right, now all that remains is this tiny chocolate cake with the groom and the bride on top. It looks at you, and as it does, it goes. It is akin to a cat. Sarnass goes, "Ha ha! Now we've got you right where we want you." And he will make a strength check. And he will fail.
Oh no.
And he will be bitten by the sponge cake.
Ah.
Oh no.
Oh shit.
You watch as his arm disappears inside the tiny cat cake. And he falls to the ground, still lifeless and motionless.
Told you, the cake is a lie.
I don't have my. Oh, I used my thing last time.
The cake is going to try and continue to eat him. The body is starting to get pulled into the cake.
Cake.
Oh no.
Better to die by cake than crocodiles.
This is the saddest.
All right, Puddles, it's your turn. Jasmine got it.
Oh no.
Puddles.
It is death by chocolate.
Puddles is oh, bananas. That's like dead, huh? Is he's dead or is he just knocked out? Gone?
Let's see. Okay. So he had 5 hit points. He took 10 damage.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he's dead. Okay.
Aw.
Just making sure.
So
Puddles
basically,
is
he had
going
his
to,
arm and shoulder kind of ripped off by the tiny cat
Puddles
cake.
is going to take several hops backwards and then like reach into their pouch and pull out one of those vials of that we got from the cave. It's a DC 13 dex. As Puddles is gonna chuck the vial, and Puddles is gonna say, "Look out! This isn't frosting. It's worse." As Puddles chucks a vial of acid at the cake.
All right.
So it's a DC 13.
All right. You grab hold of it and you throw this vial of acid. Make your attack if you would.
It's a DC 13 for you.
Oh, is it?
Dex save. Yeah.
Dex save, eh? Oops. Go for the first one. Is a 10. It fails.
So 2d6. Hold on. Or my dice just won't do anything. How about that? Okay. My dice, it'll work. So 9 damage.
9 points of damage. All right. Describe how this creature dies.
Oh. So the vial like slams into the center of that small little chocolate, like the roundest end of the vial goes in and it just sits there for a second, and then there's like this and the cake like melts from the inside and just kind of falls in on itself.
It absolutely does
like
so.
if you open the like when you open the oven and the cake falls.
Oh, that makes me actual sad.
Oh.
Poor souffle. All right. Okay.
Poor murder.
What's the body of Sarnas? Like, is it still?
Well, hold up a second. Because we have just been donated a random plot twist using Dag Dollary-Doos from Armageddon Craft. So we've got a plot twist coming. Now, the plot twist is a random draw that gets implemented immediately. All right. I will have Armageddon give me a number between 1 to 5, and I will mill as many cards, sorry. And that is what we'll use. All right, there you go.
Because we have the bag of useful stuff that has 3 potions in.
You do?
Oh, yeah.
Just like,
This is
can we make one?
Terrifying.
I don't know. That's what
All
I'm
right.
gonna...
All right, what's our number? What do we have? We have number 5. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That is okay. The plot twist card is not as it seems.
Mhm.
Okay.
The cake is a lie.
Oh, you milled some pretty bad ones,
We knew
actually, so
that.
that was good. All right, so here we go. Only because I prepped this. You move over to the body of the lizard folk. His arm, his shoulder, and most of his torso is missing. The cake, as Puddles suggested, was a lie. Although it was delicious, the death of Sarnas is bittersweet. As you look over him, you realize that there's no possible way that anyone could possibly... He sits up very suddenly. His arm's still missing, and he looks at you all in the face. What are you all staring at?
A dead man just sat up.
I have questions.
This? Oh, no, this is a defense mechanism. When we come under attack, my people, we discard limbs.
Oh, just like that.
Yes. See, a small one is already beginning to form. And you see this tiny little lizard claw.
That's incredible.
I want to know how you feel about fashion. Do you like to wear hats?
I love hats.
Would you mind trying on this hat?
Only if you will try one of mine. He pulls out what looks to be a small hat made of assorted fish bones, some dry reeds sort of sewn together. It looks like he made it himself.
Puddles will look back at Mocha and then look back at the person. Hold on, I'm doing a roll for me. And Puddles will kind of narrow their eyes given what they thought, what they interpreted from the hat having spoken before at the wedding, and take several steps back, put their hat back on their head, and wave their finger, their index finger left and to right, and say, "Oh no, you don't. I know that's those kind of. That's bad. That's bad. That's bad. How dare you try to tempt me away from the gods? How dare you?
But I
will not be swayed."
But I am a follower of the great haberdasher. I presumed you were one as well. It is why I trust you.
Puddles will look between Mocha and Sorrel and say, "The hat never lies. And the hat said the others were bad. And there is an evil one. Maybe this one's evil."
What?
Right, but
He was just talking about
Wait,
true
wait.
love before.
we always thought that the people up north were bad too, but then we met Finnick and he was all right. What's to say that this guy's not the same?
So you think I should don another hat and cast away the hat that I have been given?
What? No, I don't want you
do
to
not-
cast. I did not want you to keep the hat. This is my hat. But
A
Like
wee
you do
little
with other people.
exchange.
Oh, you just want to trade hats. Oh, for the and as long as you know the haberdashery hat dance, then we can definitely.
oh, I do know the
Exchange for a
haberdashery hat
moment.
dance. I mean, what haberdasher knows not of the great hat dance of their people.
To test this out, I will use my other hero points, and Puddles will begin the haberdashery hat dance of hatting. I just start dancing
Very well. Make a performance
in an
check.
exchange. In an exchange.
All right. As you begin to hat dance, wow, you actually really hat dance. Okay, let's see how he does. Oh, he's definitely not as proficient as you, big claws and whatnot. But he definitely knows his hat dance. You both begin to tap your feet as you perform the ceremonial hat dance, which is done to a jig. I want to just have you take a moment to imagine what is happening in my role-playing adventure right this second. I just want everyone in chat, every one of my players, just to appreciate. I am having my NPC engaging in a ritualistic hat dance with a tiny frog. Where we're at. I have this big thing with mammoths happening over in the other side of the country.
Any
We're
artists
here.
in chat? I want this so bad.
All right. So after the exchange of hat dances, your the haberdasher has spoken. While his hat is obviously not like your hat, the haberdasher teaches to love those who appreciate the hats made for them. For one hat cannot be worn by all, but one hat may guide all. And the both of you exchange a very, very knowing look that while others may not understand your ways, the ways of the hat are mysterious indeed.
Well, we'll have to see what we can do about finding you a real cake. Can I have my hat back now?
You can.
Puddles
He takes
will
off your
give
hat and he
back
gives.
the hat.
May I have my hat back now?
Puddles gives it back.
He puts his. Okay. At which point you hear a booming voice cry out and say, "No, I'm gonna try to get a different voice." I was about to do the Great Owl. It's not the Great Owl. But another voice says,
"Perhaps I can be of some assistance."
A large crook approaches from behind, wearing upon him a series of wizard-like robes, carrying a wand in one hand and a lantern torch in the other.
I do apologize. The incident with the cake was in part mine. I lost track of my wedding gift, but it was stolen by some small creature before I had finished.
Yes.
Are
It's
you
a bit of an
wizard
annoying
by
one.
chance? Yeah, is that a wizard by
I
chance?
am a wizard.
Dang it, Fennec was right.
My name is written on my hand. 1 minute.
I've got his name. I'm not making this up. If I were making it up, I wouldn't have to look it up.
His name is Wizard King Gizzard.
Is rustic.
Puddles is gonna pull off their hat and kind of murmur in there. You were right, Fennec. There was a wizard involved. Enjoy your shopping. And put their hat back on their head.
Yes, I was involved. The cake was supposed to be able to heal. Once you take a slice, it grows anew. But it just walked off. That wasn't meant to happen.
Right.
Supposed to feel like him pointing to the,
Also,
the groom.
no. It was supposed to be delicious.
Oh, it was delicious. I tried a bit. It was definitely delicious. You did that bit right.
I came as soon as I heard that several creatures from the Skyrook Ridge were down in the marshes.
Aye.
I received visions from the wise owl. They asked me to guide you.
Oh, that was nice.
Come with me. There is something you must see with your
Right.
own eyes.
Well, it's not like I could see it with somebody else's. Anyway, go ahead.
The
Also-
lizard folk groom turns to you and says, "Thank you kindly. If it wasn't for you, then who knows what may have happened. I regret that we do not have a cake, but perhaps this story shall suffice for now."
Hmm. Yeah.
And if you get
Johnson
back
is
before
looking
your
forward to
arm
seeing
grows,
him.
aye, if you get back before your arm grows back as well, then that'll have proof of your story, I guess.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, indeed.
Puddles will also grab the cake topper and offer it to them.
He takes it and says, "This is a very kind gesture. I shall remember it, and I am not one to forget a promise made. Please, if you would, take this with our kind blessing." He hands you what looks to be a small scaled pouch. Ladies and gentlemen, you are now in possession of a bag of holding.
Woo! Woohoo!
The bag of holding that you hold in your hands is a brilliant assortment of copper and yellow scales. It opens its hole and stretches up to about, well, I'd say 1.5 meters, but none of you would know what that is except for maybe Laura. It's this long. 1.5 meters. That's what it is. Anyway, it also contains an assortment of snakes that you can pull out at any given time to throw at people, because it is a bag of holding that is also supplied with endless amounts of snakes.
Snake, snake, ooh, it's a snake.
Puddles will motion to Sorrel and say, "Consider this my first gift for towards your future wedding," and make sure Sorrel
Bag
takes
of snakes.
possession of it.
Right. Thank you. Puts it on a little satchel.
With that, Sornas slithers away.
We've seen some things since we started our travels, but this has to be the strangest thing.
I mean, it's certainly a story.
Well, I don't know. Kind of think mammoths like riding bubblegum balls was a story too.
Well,
Still
aye,
think
that
that's
was-
stranger.
That was pretty funny.
Yes,
Right.
hilarious.
Oh, right. Sorry, I forgot about you. So, what is it? Well, are we gonna go with this strange, creepy lizard wizard dude that just popped out of the swamp?
My name is Ristic.
Ristic, right? Sorry, apologies, but I wasn't. Never mind. Are we going
Ristic
with
the
him or?
Mystic.
Of course it is.
We already have the King Wizard and the Lizard Wizard. It's a really good band.
Better than an elephant in the room.
Right. So, Aye, I'm not.
Good.
Excellent. He waves his wand in front of him, and as he does so, one of the logs nearby begins to shape and twist. Its bark gnarls and transforms into a long raft. He gets aboard and gestures for you to do so as well, as the wand then extends into a large pole, and he begins to move the ship like a gondola along the waterway adjacent to where you are.
Well, that's actually really handy.
Mhm.
I might see if I can get one of those. Right, well, in for a penny, in for a pound, I suppose.
He begins to
Seldom
explain that
some
the Kruts here are not very, what's the word, magically inclined. Of the reptilian people, the Kruts were blessed with high fortitude, patience, and above all else, a resounding resilience to anything and everything. But magic was not in their cards. There are very few Krut sorcerers and those born with latent powers. But through hard work and diligence, Riktik managed to master the arcane arts. This came through his travels up the Skyrook Ridge where he met with the Striga. They were the ones who told him that one day he would do something that most of his kin would only dream of. But in return, one day he would need to do a favor for them. The lantern that he holds is a gift from the Striga, and he says that it is supposed to be given to those that they deem the champions. And he was told by the Great Old One that you were the champions to wield the torch that he was supposed to keep. However, before he bequeaths it to you, he implores you,
Please, you must help. It is not the mammoths who threaten Wilderan. There is a danger from within. With Hexus, the serpent, taking stewardship over the castle. Others
I thought he was a bit creepy.
have prepared for war.
As he says this, you buy over the top of a large bank. And doing so, you come to a horrifying sight. Now, you are no stranger to innovation, lumbering, and the like. You are no stranger to technology, but Wilderan has always been a place of the wilds, a place where people believe in the strong connection to the land itself. As you go over the rise, what you see is a flattened forest as far as the eye can see. All the trees have been sliced down to the stump. It stretches so far that you can scarcely believe the fact that you can see the coast from where you are, several miles away. Several small logging camps have been erected, slicing and cutting through very, very efficiently a number of trees along the edges of the marshlands. You can see large groups of people working tirelessly behind what look to be strange contraptions made of wood and steel. And every single person heavily armored, and all of which are Gnollish.
I really have questions now.
All those trees. Do you know how many homes that could be? How many people probably live there? This is terrible.
Why is this happening? I was looking at the lizard rested for more information on this.
It is unclear. The gnolls have taken from the land, and soon they will take from the swamp.
Not if I have anything to say about it, I won't. I won't. We need to stop this.
I'm
So
glad
I'll
to
stand
hear
on her hands on her hips, like with scowling now. She's like,
He turns and smiles, a crocodile smile, and hands Sorrel the torch. As
Oh.
you hold the lantern, which is about your size, actually, he says,
This land was built upon many races working together and not apart. The Knoll have only agreed to this in words alone. They look after theirs and always have eyed the throne with jealousy. A friend of mine is now looking into them, heading to the coast in hopes of talking some sense. I have not heard from him in many moons. Please, take the lamp to Moorgrave Keep and seek out the Falkry known as Gerard.
right.
right. Just real quick, turning to our map. Let's just bloop. There we go. Nope. There it is. All right, so we see above us a map of the lands of Wilderan, and sure enough, right here at the docks is Moorgrave Keep, home and citadel to the Knolls. Now, Knolls in this world are not evil, per se. They are actually very militant. They are raised and born to be soldiers and war. As you can see here, Moorgrave Keep, which is their home, shares a border with Kashina, which is one of the major villains of Wilderan. Moorgrave Keep has always known war and battle in that little strait. It is some even say that it is only because of the Knolls' valiant effort that Wilderan enjoys the peace that they do. Of course, ignoring the efforts of the Wolfkin and the Falkry along the Linnom's Rest. But the Knoll themselves are, as the Kruk explains, very self-interested. They think their suffering is what's helping Wilderan, and they don't care if you live here. They don't care if they have to chop down 1,000,000 trees. If it's to keep Wilderan safe, in their mind, they'll do it without hesitation. That is who the Knoll are. That is what the Knoll are.
So they're only doing this because they think it will fight the mammoths, or I just don't understand what chopping the whole forest down could do to help anything.
Yeah, do any of us have any sense of what, like, any idea of what might, like, be a reason for doing this? Given what we know of where the mammoths are coming from, what's going on there, and what would this much amount of wood and whatever they're doing would be?
Make a investigation check as you begin to scan over the Knollish, let's call them lumberers.
Oops. Oh, there it is. Oh, not what I wanted to do.
Anyone can do this check, by the way, if you would like.
Oh, okay.
Whoop.
Do you think that they are paving the way for the mammoths to come through, making it easier? Do you think that they'll enlist the mammoths in their war?
Well, they probably see the mammoths as a threat, to be fair.
With an investigation check, You know that Morgrave Keep is also home to one of the biggest shipyards in Wilderan as well. This amount of wood could imply that they are currently working on a fleet enlargement, as it were, looking at adding to their numbers and the like. As for why, you recall the message from way back when. The Kashinians have stood down. They have declared a ceasefire so that there would be time to mourn the passing of King Lion. However, if Morgrave is using this opportunity to, I guess, bolster their forces, they could either be trying to get rid of the mammoths, perhaps take the throne for themselves, or even try to do a preemptive strike against Kashina and destroy it during the ceasefire. None of these things are beyond the mindset of the Knoll, from what Mocha understands. But you do notice someone among the people as you examine. You see... Let me pull this guy up here. You see this individual, who seems to be barking orders to several of the loggers.
You there! Quit lollygagging. We've got to get these shipments in by tonight. If we fail, then you're going to have half rations.
He looks like he seems to be, well, kind of in charge, or at least more than the others.
So I have a question, Sorrel and Mocha. There's only 4 of us when Fennec gets back from shopping. There's a lot of them.
Hi, but what...
So, do we have any friends that we can ask for help along the way that are willing to, or is it just, I'm not as big as you guys, and I'm just trying to figure out how, do we just run in there and poke everybody? I could probably blow maybe a quarter of the amount of bubbles there are people down there.
Right, well, I think we just need to talk to him. I could maybe try and, I don't know, get him to follow me or something, and then we could wheelie him. The 4 of us could take it, and then we could question him and find out what's going on. Perhaps.
Sorry, just to also keep in mind, the Gnolls are not a hostile force. They are actually, again, soldiers of Wilderan.
Yeah. These are our soldiers here, so someone's telling them to... Well, either that or they just think that this is going to help us somehow.
So we could just ask them.
Well, I guess my question is more... I don't know what my question is, but I just feel a little outnumbered. And what if they're convinced that if we go down and try to talk them out of whatever they're doing or try to do, why don't we just
find out what they're doing first?
Yeah.
Then we can make up our mind after.
So do we all go down there and find out, or do just one of us go?
Let's all go. We shouldn't split the party.
All right.
Well, all right, Sorrel. Dad has spoken about you many times. I'm sure you got this.
These are
well, we can run away.
So, at least they should be.
All right.
Okay.
You scan the horizon and decide to approach. Are you going to approach this guy, or are you going to approach just some random logger?
Sorrel thinks we should go for this guy, but obviously we'll put it to a party vote.
I'm fine with that.
He's probably more likely to know what's going on than just...
Before we approach, Puddle's gonna hide in Mocha's mug.
Sure.
That's fair.
All right. So, you start making your way down. The grass is dry, almost crumbling under your footsteps as you make your way through the cut and decimated landscapes. As you get closer, you see in front of you the gnolls as they're working. One of them turns to you.
You're not authorized to be here. Who are you? Where do you come from?
Oh, what do you mean, authorized? Wilderan belongs to everybody. Everyone's authorized everywhere.
Well, Wilderan may belong to everyone, but this area here is for reclamation.
I've noticed. Destruction, more like it.
Destruction? This is creation. We're building a better
Oh, yeah.
future. For you, no less.
For me, this is, I live in trees, right? Didn't you see how cutting down a forest is making life any better for me or my kin?
Did we
Yeah,
cut
what's
down
it
some
gonna
of your
do
trees,
now?
did we?
Anybody could be living in these trees. Did you check first?
Of course we did. We put up eviction notices and everything.
So you chased people out of their homes. What are you doing this for?
Well, first of all, hi, my name is Talbot.
Oh, right. Sorry. Sorrow.
Mocha.
And
Just a wee bit upset.
I can imagine. Listen, I'm not in charge of human relations, or should I say, Wildrani relations. But listen, for what I can tell you,
From the mug?
He seems to be very nervous about speaking to you. He's actually looking around to make sure no one's listening.
From the mug, Puddles is still gonna stay in there, but is gonna call out. If you evict a woman from their home, you have to marry them and take care of them. Sorrel, is he cute?
The
We picked up a wee bit of a cursed mug along the way.
Talbot turns to you. Talbot turns to you and says, "I must insist you answer the question." He then smiles at you.
Well, I mean, I suppose you're all right.
Ooh. He takes a moment. He sort of leans on his crossbow like he's just been shot by an arrow. Like, it's okay, Talbot. It's all right. 5 years of therapy to get over your self-confidence issues is perfectly fine. Squirrel telling you that you're all right. It's all right. It's fine. Look, I can't tell you much, but things aren't well in the Citadel. The king is gone, and there are people who want to do wrong. We can't let them, and we can't give them time to rally their forces either. What the commander is doing is sensible. It makes sense. He's a good man, and he helped us deal with our own curse. Though there are moments where we struggle, but trust us. This is for the greater good.
Sounds like a marriage proposal to me. Sorrel, you should say yes.
No, our dad always used to say, beware of people that say that things are for the greater good, because often it's not so much. But I'm sure you believe that what you're doing is right.
We're just trying to make sense of all this, really. So much is going on at once, you know?
I need to hurry up and find a new king.
Well, hopefully we will one day. For
How
now,
is cutting
however,
all these trees going to protect you from the mammoths?
the mammoths. Ha! Brutes, barbarians. We have technology on our side. Behold, the mighty Knoll crossbow. He holds up his crossbow very proudly.
It's quite a nice crossbow, actually.
We
You
could
actually
use some
saw
of
the mammoth's
back of our
crossbow that
town.
shot through a building.
Puddles is
Yeah,
gonna
the
pop
mammoths have those too.
Puddles is gonna pop their head out of the mug, holding on to their hat, and say, look, fancy person,
Talbot.
guy of, I'm sorry, Albert?
Talbot.
Yeah, okay, Robert. So this is my friend Sorrel. You've destroyed all that are like gonna make her a happy life, and you've evicted people, and you've left her homeless. She thinks you're decent looking. You got a real tiny crossbow, and that could be a problem. Because we've seen crossbows that have taken out entire buildings and laid out our town. We've met cakes that were a lie. We've encountered exploding mushroom-like goblins, and my family left me to die. And then we've lost our king. And you're telling me that you're still single? Have you met my friend Sorrel?
Bewilderment.
Look,
That is the only word.
right.
Mutual.
But what they're saying actually is mostly true. Well, we have been through a lot. How little I know. Well, Mocha's quite big, but we've been through a lot, and I think we'll have another plan that maybe doesn't involve destroying half the land. Is there any chance that, well, your commander would listen to a better plan, is what I'm saying? Or is he dead set on this one?
He has this very involuntary laugh. He says, yes, he might be amenable to speak with people, but you probably won't see him today. He's preparing.
Why? For what?
He suddenly gets very tight-lipped. Look, that's not your worry about. And listen, I know we haven't forced you or any of these people out of their homes while here. Sure, there are some who have had to relocate, but we've done what we can. We can't help everyone, and especially if we don't have the resources to do it.
Oh, come on now. You know, actually, you're quite cute when you get all defensive like that. And come on, just tell us what he's preparing for.
Make a persuasion check.
You should totally tell her, because you're like the first guy she's ever flirted with and didn't like electrocute.
And you can tell.
Was that some bardic inspiration Puddles was just giving?
Or like,
Oh yeah, I did have bardic inspiration. Hang on.
Yeah.
I don't know if a 1d6 would make a difference, but hey.
or anything else.
It's something.
That's 13.
Look at her, isn't she beautiful?
So what is it total? 8 and 5 is 13, yeah.
No.
Oh. Oh, well.
No, you hurt his feelings already.
Oh,
Delicate heart.
harsh.
He
Right.
he says, No, I can't. I've already wasted enough time, and we have much to do. There are more trees to cut down and less time to do it in. If you want to go and try, then by all means, head to the keep and speak to someone there.
Before we go, is it possible, just this is an out of character question, is it possible for Puddles to attempt to reach out to the haberdashery, Puddles' haberdashery god?
Yeah, 100%.
To kind of encourage and possibly show some like to further persuade, I guess, to give them a little bit more to go on before they go into the keep, so that they're not unprepared.
I don't think that would be in the domain of the haberdasher, but
To persuade the guy to tell us more.
you were quite well. Sora was quite mean to him, and he's very sad. But
yeah, that's true.
it's horrible. He's just,
Sora
yeah.
was kind of mean.
But I'll allow you to make your own persuasion check as well.
Okay. So Puddles will take off their hat and kind of wave it and say, "Are you familiar with the haberdashery?
I
You
am.
look like a very fashionable man."
Well, yes, my mother worshipped the great haberdasher.
Then you understand the importance of a hat, the importance of what the tone is. So if you don't mind, and I'm sure Sorrel may not think you're very handsome, but I do like your fashion sense, and it would be further inspired if you could just put on this hat for a moment and allow the haberdashery to resonate with you for a moment. Strike a pose, because a pose is always important. And then if you feel so inspired.
As you say
the
that, he sort of
haberdashery.
covers up his cheeks. Puddles, you know this is very indicative of the older generation of haberdash worshippers who like to pinch the cheeks of people wearing hats.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So he covers his cheeks almost as if to protect them and says, "Only because my mother would kill me if I didn't." He puts the hat on.
Okay.
All right. Make an insight check as you have him put on the
insight.
hat.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mocha, while this is going on, what are you doing while Puddles is trying to hook up Sorrel with Talbot?
I think besides being a little confused about this, since Mocha's more focused on actually what's going on around here, she's probably like actually trying to look around and get a better sense of like what the other people are doing to maybe get some more information just from like visual cues of what people are doing. Like she's seen enough people in their town that have like carpenters and probably lumberers and stuff like that to maybe get a sense of.
Make a general wisdom check.
Okay. Yee.
Nice. All right. With a 20, what you know is that they're definitely building weapons, right? But no kind of weapon that you would perceive the Gnoll being able to currently use. It's not for swords or shields, and there's no way they're using bows and arrows. You've literally just seen the steel crossbow in his hands. what you do think is that the ships that they use currently wouldn't even require this much wood. There has to be something else. Some sort of secret weapon that they must be working on.
Like, what kind of weapon would use this much wood? You're definitely not making crossbows with these.
I also, with that 20, will give you the following. You recognize the bolt inside the actual crossbow that this man is wielding. The fletching on the bolt matches the fletching on the polar bear that you saw in the vision in Skyrook Ridge.
Oh. Yeah, for a moment, she kind of recognizes that and kind of gets the kind of wide-eyed expression like, oh no, but she's not going to say anything outright with this guy here. She's kind of gives Sorrel and Puddles a look for afterwards.
All right. Puddles, your insight check. As you look him up and down, he's definitely been truthful this whole time, but you find it difficult to get a bearing on what this person is. As far as evil intentions, you get no sign of evil intentions from this man and his posing.
But does he vogue well?
Does he vogue well? He does vogue incredibly well. Absolutely. He definitely knows how to strut his stuff. Also, thank you so much, Immersion Diversion, for the $50 donation. Woo! Thank you, sir. Please let me know whether or not you wish for an NPC, a magic item, or an event to occur in the Winds of Wilderan game. And we will make it happen. Woo!
Yay.
Also, the boss bar didn't go down, but I'll make sure that Eddie fixes it. Because, yeah, it'll go down. It'll go down. Or maybe it takes its time. I don't know. I don't know how it works. It's just there. Okay.
Yeah. Depending on how long it takes for Puddles to be like having this guy vogue, might look to Sorrel and kind of step back a bit and gesture to her to follow for a second. Sorrel.
She will.
Also keep the guy distracted.
Yeah.
Much
He's
as
gonna, like,
possible with voguing.
Oh, yeah,
Get
he's
down.
definitely distracted.
Kind of like kneel down in like a huddle with this tiny squirrel and just be like, hey Sorrel, the bow the bolt that guy has, it's the same one from the polar bear.
Wait, the one that was in him. Oh.
I don't know what it means, but that thing is really probably very dangerous. We should be careful here.
Yeah, because that polar bear was really angry.
And given Fennec said it was a person, I'm a little worried about what those things do.
Right. Now I want to talk to this captain person even more.
Yeah, so do I. Just be careful.
Right.
And she'll stand back up.
Puddles will finish their vogue and give Talbot the like double thumbs up and say, "You vogue pretty well. I like your fashion style." And no matter what Sorrel says, I still think you're handsome.
He smiles and says, well, thank you. You're not so bad looking yourself.
Thanks. Can I have my hat back, please?
Yes, certainly. Here you are. He takes the hat off and hands it to you.
Thanks. That's a really cool crossbow you have.
Thank you.
Do you have a smaller version? One that I could hold and maybe use?
We generally don't give out weapons to civilians. At
Oh,
all.
Not even as a souvenir?
No.
How am I going to protect myself? It's just me, my banjo, my hat, and my pipe.
We will protect you. That is what the good guard of the knoll is supposed to be for.
So what you're saying is if people need help, you'll be there to protect them?
Yes.
What if I know of places that need help? Will you go and protect them?
Well, yes, that's what we do.
Okay, so not very far from here, there's crocodiles that need help, and then back home where there's mammoths coming, and we all need help, but there was nobody there to help us, and we almost died.
Yes. Well, you
So
see,
you
I
weren't
can
there?
help. I can help, but not all simultaneously at once. There are, of course, people to do that, and we will ensure that that is taken care of. We are aware of the
Even-
Crut and their issues. Look, I'm just here to supervise the lumbering. If you want more information, you'll have to ask. At this point, there is a pair of footsteps that seems to walk in your direction. Also, I'm taking a very big presumption on this based on a conversation I've been having, but let's see if this is actually what it is. From behind, another figure approaches. Now, what's all the commotion here? I swear, every time we turn our back for one moment, you people find any excuse just to start lollygagging. Sorry, sir. I knew it wasn't our fault. We were trying to put the civilians' mind. Yes. Put the civilians. Get on with it. And you, so-called civilians.
Hey,
So cold.
Yes, I've seen your sort. Adventuring sorts. You with your skillet, and your bow and arrow, and your hat. I don't trust you.
that feeling's mutual.
We wouldn't need to be adventuring if our home wasn't taken over by mammoths a few days ago.
Mammoths? Mammoths! You're worried about mammoths because they got through to you. Where were your falconry? Where were the wolf guard? Where were all of the people that were supposed to protect the north, No, that's all right. Just come all the way to the south. Go bang on the knolls. Oh, hello! You've helped us with Kashinia so much, and we've been so grateful this whole time that why not? Will you come and help us with the mammoth? Please, would you? Pah! He spits on the ground. Need. That's all you people ever want.
Thurl, I don't think that's the one for you.
Oh, wait, me neither. Look, mister. We've actually tried to help. We've got our villages away from the mammoths ourselves, and we've dealt with a lot of problems on the way here, and we're
Oh, have you
trying
now?
to find
And you've
a
come
new
to us
king
for what then?
to
for a
find
cookie?
out why you're... No, a cookie would be nice. I don't think I'd want one baked by you. I would just wanted to know why you were chopping down the forest. And, well,
Sorry.
now we know.
Bob, I've got to say this. Bob of Buffalo said you should have asked for a cake. That was pretty good. All right.
We're passing through on our way to... Where were we going again? Somewhere with a
The
stone.
lantern was supposed to guide your way.
Right. Yeah, so
Well, we're supposed to give the lantern to somebody, weren't we?
No. He
Yes.
was. The wizard was supposed to give the lantern to you, and the lantern was supposed to guide you to the answers you seek.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we're on our own little mission, and we're passing through, and we just thought we'd inquire as to why you were chopping down reams of forest. That was it. I don't want your poxy help. Puts little hands on her fist
Do you
together.
at least have a name?
Besides for that, info.
He turns and he says, "Well, if that's the case, then allow me to be blunt. Go around! And as for my name, I am Drezzy. At your service. Or should I say, at your behest. As in, you should be on your behest behavior, or I will see to it that you spend a night in the brig. I mean, what do they call land jail? Jail, I guess. Jail.
Aye.
Well, I don't see you with an easel and paint. Unless you're going to make a portrait, I'd say you move on.
All right, I will.
Good.
So stomps off in the hoof.
As we in the nautical profession like to say, shove off.
Mocha's gonna like be focused a bit on that the crossbow the other guy has. Like, does this guy also have a crossbow, or is he just like?
He does not. He appears to only have a pan flute. Oh, not a pan flute, like a flute. He's got a flute. Very weird.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as you leave, he out of earshot, he walks up to the other knoll and starts berating him. You can kind of almost see like a drill sergeant kind of relationship where he's starting to just yell and tell this guy off. He kind of stands at attention and just lets it happen. And at one point or another, he takes the flute and belts him across the face.
Really
Yeah.
don't like that guy.
Puddles is gonna like hop back into Mocha's mug, lean over the side, strum their banjo a couple of times, lean over the side with the hat, and as they're kind of strumming the banjo in this awkward sound, Puddles is going to say, "How dry I am." as Puddles points their hat, like leans over the side and points their hat in the direction of Drezzy, Puddles is gonna give them a like an awkward look, and try to like make their eyes like when I go up, when I go down, and then kind of swirl around, and exhale several bubbles from their pipe and say again, "How dry I am." And the bubbles kind of swirl, and in a couple of the bubbles that are coming directly towards him, it looks like two eyeballs, and as it gets really, really close, like when Puddle says again, "How dry I am," the bubbles are gonna pop right in front of him. I'm going to cast Tasha's Hideous Laughter on him just because it's a wisdom DC 12.
No.
Intent is just to make him shut up by making him cackle.
Okay. Oh, I didn't tell you this, but I think it's funnier if I continue to not tell you this. All right.
This is Bard v. Bard.
As you cast this spell, he automatically fails. However, when this happens, he starts to laugh. And the laughter starts to get louder and louder. And as it continues to do so, you watch as his body begins to shift and change. His haunch becomes larger and more pronounced. He continues. That's not as intimidating as I wanted it to be, but let me try again. Ah, this is perfect. And as the sound carries from him, one of the lumberers starts to laugh.
and then another, and then another, and then Talbot. And all of them start to cascade, and they start to laugh in a huge crowd around you, rising and rising, and they look at you with their eyes, which are now hollow and yellow. And that is where we're going to end today's session.
What?